What's up, everybody? WWE Battleground 2015 pay-per-view review. Today, on the Razman's Reality. Alrighty, just really quickly, I apologize in advance. The fridge is running a bit hard right now, so it may or may not get picked up in the background. I always do the best I can with editing, but we'll see what happens. Card opened up with Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Solid match. Randy Orton goes over Sheamus here. No real big surprise since the pay-per-view took place in St. Louis. Oh, I skipped over the pre-show match. My fault. I completely forgot about it because it's a nothing feud to me. But King What's Up, R-Truth versus King Barrett. Wade Barrett, and Barrett goes over in the match. Bad news, Barrett with the victory there. Next up, WWE Tag Team titles. Primetime players retain their championships over the challenge of the New Day. Another solid match, not a good match, not a great match, just solid match. Next up, Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Really good match. Was really surprised how well these two work together. I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns because he seems to only work well with certain people, but he and Bray Wyatt had a really solid, really good match. I was actually kind of surprised that this match went down because I expected someone to take Bray Wyatt's place. Well, that someone that I expected to take Bray Wyatt's place did show up at the end of the match as a clothesline was delivered to Reigns. Excuse me, not a clothesline, but a shoving was delivered to Reigns. Yeah, it was a clothesline, and then a shove into the ring apron to Reigns on the outside of the ring, allowing Wyatt to get the victory. A hooded figure removes his hood to reveal said hooded figure to be Luke Harper. So, 2/3 of the Wyatt family officially back together again. A very predictable outcome considering the injury to Eric Rowan. We'll have to see where it goes and if it helps both guys or if it's just a step backward for Luke Harper. Next up, it was a segment to replace the Intercontinental Championship match with the injured Ryback. Miz comes out and runs his mouth. Big Show comes out and KOs him. And that is that. WWE Divas Triple Threat match. All three Divas teams that were set up from this past Monday Night Raw to pick a representative. So it was Brie Bella versus Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. And man alive, did Charlotte and Sasha get a good main roster, if you want to call it that. I think NXT is a brand more than a developmental now. But for the sake of argument, we'll call it main roster here. They got one heck of a main roster showing. Charlotte picks up the victory with the figure 8 on Brie Bella. Just a fantastic match. If you're not a fan of the current quote-unquote main roster diva scene and you don't watch NXT because for some strange reason you don't have the network or are busy on Wednesday nights doing other things that I've never seen Charlotte and Sasha Banks in action, I can't recommend this match enough. If this is a sign of what this Divas Revolution is going to be, it truly will be a Divas Revolution. Triple H really is trying to make the Divas division worth something behind the scenes in the booking. I'm very, very excited about the future if this trend continues. Rubber match. Kevin Owens versus John Cena, this time for the United States title. This match to me was right up there with the Elimination Chamber match, if not better. Just an absolute classic. So many false finishes, and this was a case where false finishes really helped the match and didn't hinder it one bit and made it better. Kevin Owens in the end taps out to the STF. Whether you're a fan of the outcome or not, Kevin Owens has nothing to be ashamed of in the match, but John Cena is still your United States champion. I predict a fatal 4-way match at SummerSlam between Cena, Owens, Cesaro, and Rusev. That is my prediction there. And in your main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins, surprisingly to a lot of people, walks out remaining WWE World Heavyweight Champion against Brock Lesnar, as the match was essentially thrown out because we saw the return of the Dead Man, The Undertaker. A little bit surprising. I knew the rumors were there. I knew they really wanted to make SummerSlam a big pay-per-view like they always do, the number 2 pay-per-view of the year, but I've never expected The Undertaker to actually wrestle at SummerSlam. He hasn't wrestled in a non-WrestleMania atmosphere for a very, very long time, but it looks like this will be exception to the rule of the last few years as he attacks Brock Lesnar and prevents Brock Lesnar from winning the championship, and the pay-per-view just ended with the Dead Man walking off. So a little bit of a lapse in booking because the match doesn't even end whatsoever, but still a very cool moment to see. Solid show leading into SummerSlam. SummerSlam looks like it's going to be a fairly strong card. If I have to give it a star rating, which I don't particularly like to do for pay-per-views, but I know that's what most people expect to hear in these kind of reviews, so if I have to give it a star rating, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, simply because despite the strong matches, the strange ending kind of threw me off. As always, if you're new here and you like what you saw here today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I would love to see you again. Don't forget to like and share as well because those always help with views. Please consider becoming a Patreon supporter of mine. All proceeds from any Patreon donations goes right back into the show so I can have more stuff to talk about and review, possibly future equipment. Who knows what your support can bring. No amount is too big, no amount is too small. I will be back on Wednesday, time undetermined. We're shooting for 4 p.m., but I may or may not be seeing a 4:50 p.m. movie, so if I do, it'll have to be much earlier in the day, or it may be moved to a different day. But the next video is expected to be the debut of my podcast on Geeky TV with Skinslip, so be on the lookout for that. And as always, this is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.